Now we talked about three major problems. One of the problem was concurrency, that if let's say two persons are trying to create a booking and we have only one seat left and both of them makes an API call, who will go through? We have handled that using locks and transactions. One more major issue was, what if from the client tries to actually make a payment. There was some processing going on. The payment went through, but while returning the response, something went wrong, right? Now you might feel that, okay, one layer of protection we already have for this problem by setting up a TCP connection. By setting up a TCP connection, we already have a one setup of layer that if payment goes through, we will definitely return a response. Why? Because TCP is a reliable connection. On TCP, there won't be a case that response never goes back, right? But there is a different case for us. Sometimes what happens is the payment gateway takes your OTP, takes your payment mechanism, and then for the time being, return you a response that your response is under processing. Your response is under processing, something like that. And then later, let's say, what they do is they try to send a notification or something that, okay, your payment has been now successful. Now the problem here is, in that other event that they are sending, if let's say they have a mechanism like this, you initiate a payment, they return that, okay, we are processing your payment. And let's say your payment has been already processed, but that notification you never receive. This can be a valid concern, right? In these kind of cases, what happens is people end up doing double transactions, right? People end up doing double transaction for the same booking. Although for that booking, the transaction is already done. You just have not yet received the notification. But what happens is you end up losing your money twice. And this can actually happen in multiple cases. For example, in any case where some amount deduction or some amount increment is going to happen. And let's say if a person retries 2 times. For example, let's say there can be a situation like this, that due to some client side mistake or somehow, let's say the user initiates 2 payment requests by mistake. I'm not saying manually, by mistake, the user initiates 2 payment requests for the same booking. One payment request has already gone through. Like, of course, now these 2 are going on. They're not going to go in a transaction because both of them are going into a transaction and we have set up isolation and everything. That's why not both of them will go at one point of time, but one after another, they can definitely go, right? One after another, they can definitely go. How can you handle this? So these are some of the retry situations that actually occurs in the systems. And there is a concept called as idempotency. There is a concept called as idempotency. What is idempotency? It is a property of certain operations in maths and computer science where they can be applied multiple times. Without changing the result beyond first application, right? That is, let's say you made a payment request and the payment is done, but by mistake one more request came up. Now because this was the first request, this is the second request, only the first request will be applied. The second request will not show any effect. In case first request was not successful, then this is not the first successful request, then we will definitely try to apply the second request. So what idempotency means, that after your first successful application, if you repeat the process, it's not gonna work. And then from here only we have a concept of idempotent APIs. Idempotent APIs. What are idempotent APIs? Idempotent APIs are those kind of APIs in which, if let's say the action of API has been already successfully implemented once, and by mistake, due to some system error, front end mistake, some user mistake, one more similar request comes up, we are not going to apply the second one, third one, and beyond that. After first successful application, it's not going to work. That means if we are able to make our payment API idempotent, even if somebody makes 2 requests, the payment is only going to go through once. As simple as that. And that's what we have to implement. We will try to make our make payment pseudo dummy, whatever API you want to say that we did for payments, an idempotent API, so that this kind of an issue doesn't occur for our user.